Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully everybody's doing well and everyone is ready for this trading week. Let's get profitable. It's another opportunity to refine your skills, to improve yourself as a trader, to put in the work, to be consistent in every aspect of your life, obviously, so that you can see the consistency in the markets as well. And yeah, I'm back again with another episode or part two of the preparation for the funded challenge. As I said on the first episode, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it now. As I said, I'm going to be taking you guys with me on this journey of preparing for a funded account, funded challenge. And this is the second installment. If you haven't checked the first video, I really recommend that you go watch it so that you can catch on really quick. So this is the last. I think this is because I passed it on the second video or the part two. This is the last one of this challenge. I'm gonna do another one and see if I can also pass it before I actually fund a real one. I think I'm gonna buy my Forex fund one, the 5K one, start there, and yeah, I'm gonna bring you guys with as well and let you witness the progress. So what I'm gonna be doing in this video is it's not gonna be long. I always say that, but end up with an hour-long video. But yeah, this one is not gonna be long. If you watched my previous video, you'll know that um before I even get into the trades, please subscribe, guys, because I see that a lot of y'all watch my videos without subscribing. The views on my videos, even though they are not as much, you know, the views do not match with the number of subscribers. So please, before I get into this, please go subscribe. It doesn't really cost much. It doesn't cost anything. It's just you clicking the subscribe button and you just like the video. That's it. So that you can also be tapped in, so that you can be part of this journey, because we're gonna be leveling up in real time. And if you are with me here, if you're sticking around this time, I promise you're about to witness greatness. And I'm also here for you guys. I'm here to give the tips. I'm here to give the psychological hacks on how to go about being profitable. I know I'm not as yet profitable as I would want to be, but that's the point of it all. Let's grow together. So please subscribe. Uh, and like the video if you really find it valuable. Don't just watch and move on. So yeah, if you watched the previous video, you know that I was only left with $18 before I could pass the total challenge or the whole trading objectives. As you can see, everything is passed right now, and I don't know what the next step is going to be. I haven't gotten any information or any communication from Ftmo. But then it's a free trial. This is probably a one phase type of a challenge where you just have to meet these objectives. If it's not, then we'll see. You see, we'll see what they say after 20 days, because it's supposed to end on the 20th of July. We are given 14 days. So if there's nothing to go ahead with after that, I'm definitely gonna do another one and see if I can pass this one. If I do pass that one, I'm funding or buying a challenge with my Forex fund, the 5K one. I'm also going to be documenting it like this. So without any further ado, let me break down this trade I took, the last trade I took for the challenge. And yeah, I passed the challenge with just one position of the trade, but I'm so excited to break this trade down for you guys, because man, it was a good trade. You're in a good trade where when you follow all the procedures, when the trade meets all the criteria. And this was one of those trades. And I really think this was one of the best trades I've had this year. I'm not gonna lie. Even though it was a quick one, it was an in and out, but then I could really see the psychology. I could really see the manipulation. I could really see uh the process of really making profits by just being in tune with the markets and watching price, and being fully invested, and taking everything into account as a trader. And I was really proud of myself for taking that trade. I'm not gonna lie. It really reminded me that, yo, I've been doing this shit. I'm not gonna lie. So I might be hyping myself up. Y'all tell me in the comment section if this is one of the trades. If this is some regular shit to you, excuse the language. If this is some regular like trade that you take on a regular, is cool. But then for me, it was just like it was mind blowing because yeah, most of the time we be taking trades that do not even, even though they might be profitable sometimes, but taking a trade that you're really proud of is very rare. And that's what I'm trying to do going forward. And that's why I'm saying that's why I think I stand a good chance of getting my funded challenge on my first try. Because like I just unlocked something in my trading with this one. So yeah, before I get deep into it, this is the trade that I took AUDJPY. It was on Friday. Today's Monday. That's why like you see like my chart is messy, and yeah, I took it in the early stages. This sell in early stages, and I closed everything as soon as I passed the challenge, but I could have held obviously. So what happened was, price was obviously had broken this trend line, so obviously there was some sort of a bullish sentiment, right? There was some sort of a bullish sentiment, and if you look closely here, you will see that this is actually a head and shoulder. This is a inverse head and shoulder, and yeah, it was respected, and you know that it's valid when it's valid when the right shoulder or the second shoulder is smaller than the previous one. When it's smaller than the other one, it's about to go crazy. So I saw this movement, and also the trend line as a confluence to say, okay, first touch, second touch, even though price failed to make new highs, I could see like the psychology that was required, or the psychology that I needed to tap into for me to be profitable. Because on my left hand side as well here, you will see that we have a point of interest. This is a supply zone, and whenever there's like a point of interest in the markets, or wherever like traders are likely, wherever traders are likely to see an opportunity, that's where the liquidity is at, and that's where you need to pay attention and really tap in for real, right? So I zoomed in and I saw that okay, price is low key forming this pattern, which is supposed to be like the bullish continuation pattern, but it's too good to be true. I mean, it's around the supply area. What is the market trying to do, right? I think I was around this. It was around 12. I'm not sure what time I took the trade, but it was in the afternoon on Friday. So as soon as price broke out of this pattern, I zoomed out. I zoomed into the 5 minute time frame. 5 minute time frame. And this is what I saw, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because I understood that price is now going into the point of interest that I just showed you on I think it's around this area. But the point of interest that I just showed you on let me do this quickly. The point of interest I just showed you on the 1 hour, right? Which is at around this area, this zone. So I understood that, okay, as you can see, this vertical line is where the uptrend or the bullish trend really was making its last high, or the last high it made. And after that, price started dropping, and then here we saw a change of character, meaning the trend reversal. The uptrend was over and it was invalidated. And after that, that's where now you watch hard for opportunities to enter the market, right? Because now the change of character has happened, and people are now like rushing to take the sales. People are rushing to enter the buys. Those who are looking for buys, right? Why am I talking about buys? Is because you will see things like this forming, right? This pattern right here is screaming buy to the people who trade patterns and trend lines and all of that stuff, right? So looking at this price movement here, I knew that okay, these highs, first of all, that's where you get your liquidity, right? That's where you get your liquidity, because these are the highest high, and also it happens to be around it happens to be around this point of interest. This point of interest right here, this point of interest right here. So this is the dead touch on the same level. So that there's a lot of liquidity around that area. Okay, so what happened was price started to form after the change of character. Price started to consolidate a bit and started going to the upside again, right? When it went to the upside, I figured that it might try to come retest this level or grab the liquidity that's here. Okay, fine. The pattern formed and everything, and right here, I'm not gonna lie, you can see this candle, right? This ugliest candle. After this candle, I realized that okay, this is price grabbing all the liquidity. How? People who are trading this pattern, as soon as price was going up to the upside, they entered their buys, right? They all entered their buys. Others had their orders right above the pattern to say, okay, if price breaks above this line, you're entering buy. So all the buy orders, even around this area, all the buy orders, all the buy stops, price got here. People probably even entered more buys, right? Whole time price is just grabbing all the liquidity, right? Grabbing all the liquidity, and the liquidity also including the stop losses, not the stop losses. Yeah, the stop losses of all the sellers who entered here, because obviously this is a point of interest. So there was also sellers obviously who entered here or here, and obviously we're trialing the stop losses. I'm trying to like mention all the potential liquidity that was around this area, right? So as soon as price did that, obviously the buyers were triggered in. Obviously, what did they do? When they entered there, they put their stop losses here to say, okay, if price comes back into the pattern, I'm invalidated. So obviously my stop loss is going to be here, right? And that's where I enter now. That's where I enter as big T to say, okay, after this rejection, I'm entering my cells. I'm going to post a screenshot. I'm entering my cells right here because I know with how the market works, share and sweet, right? If, excuse me for the language, but this is not about to be a perfect entry for the buyers who entered on this candle, right? We obviously have to go get their stop losses. That's if we're not dropping anyways, right? Because a lot of liquidity was grabbed here and it was enough for any movement, honestly. So I entered my cells here and I put my stop loss right above this high. I think the screenshot will just say it, or will just show you where I put my stop loss. But then I was like, okay, for the people, because what I'm aiming for is the stop losses of the people who entered buys here. So if price happens to now come back here and go up, then the people who entered buys are right. But then that's how I set my stop loss. That's the logic behind it. To say if price breaks this level and comes around this level again after this rejection, then the buyers are really in and the buyers are right. But if price fails to break this level, because also this level, if you look at it properly, there was some sort of resistance, price was failing to break up to close above, right? So I entered my cells here. Honestly, I entered my first cell here because I was like, okay, I'm only gonna enter if this level here, you see this level here gets broken to the downside. Then I'm gonna be sure about the sellers and like the stop hunt of the buyers to say, okay, if they're entered or if they're trying to enter here, even because this is a trend line, first touch, second touch, third touch. So there's a lot of liquidity around this area. So I entered here, price rejected, started going up, right? Started going up, but then because I saw that there's some sort of resistance around this area, I entered more cells around this area. I added more positions and had my stop loss right above this high right here. And then I had my take profit here around this level because I understood that when price comes here, it's going to activate buyers. So that's another liquidity now. It's the stop losses of the people who bought around this area and the buys of the people who entered or who were waiting for the third touch on the trend line, right? So I understood that, okay, if the market is going to try and sweep their liquidity, it's going to come for the stop losses. That's if I'm wrong that, okay, the price is going to drop, right? So I'm aiming for the stop losses of the buyers who entered here and the buyers who entered where on the trend line. So my take profit is here. My take profit is around this area. So that's what I did. I entered the trade, and as you can see, it was profitable, you know. So this goes back to what I was saying on my previous videos. If you haven't been tapped in, it's high time you tap in right now, because everything is playing out in real time. Where I said, for you to make money in the market, look at the market as an op, you know. Look at the market as someone who's against what is, you know, what is done usually by traders. It might be your smart money traders sometimes, or it might be your trend line traders. Just like be against them. Like put yourself in a position where like you'd be gullible as a trader to say, oh, this pattern is been respected. Here's where I would enter, but do not enter. Just be an op of that logic or that thought process. And I'm telling you, especially on a low time frame like this, the 5 minute, what I like about it is that it's easy for you to determine where you're going to put your stop loss. For example, how I put my stop loss here in the big time frame or in the larger time frame, it's really like just tight, or it's going to look like it's out of nowhere. But then because I have this price action on the 5 minute, obviously my stop loss is valid, and the thought process behind it is always like, you know, it has to make sense. You know, it's not just out of nowhere, you know. So yeah, that's what happened. Price broke, and yeah, price was gonna drop anyways. So price got to my TP, hit my TP. And another thing that I've learned, and another mistake that I almost fell for, was that as soon as I saw that move happen, I wanted to enter another trade just out of nowhere. But I told myself that, okay, for every trade that I enter, now this is the game. If there's anything you need to take out of this video, this is what I'm about to say, right? I just explained to you the thought process behind the trade that I took, right? And that thought process yielded good profits. I'm not gonna lie, you know, the profit. This is a trade that I'm proud of taking. But also another thing is, have the same process for each and every trade that you take, right? Have the same process. It doesn't have to be as complicated as the first entries, but if you want to scale in, have some sort of a process. Don't just enter because you think you're in profit, you know, especially now because I'm introduced to this, you know, low time frame 5 minute where I can get perfect entries, right? So I caught myself trying to enter another position somewhere here, but then I was like, no, what am I doing? You know, I need some sort of a validation or some sort of confirmation before I enter such a trade. If it's gonna be a channel like this or a trend line like this where like I only enter when it gets broken, let it be, right? Like every principle I apply on one trade or on one time frame, I should apply it everywhere, right? So yeah, going forward, that's what you should do. Apply in your trading the principles that you apply on each and every trade, whether you're in profits or whether you're in losses. You know, being a profitable trader comes with doing one thing a couple of times until you actually figure it out, right? And obviously, if I had entered here after the break, I would have understood that as soon as I see some sort of like, you know, support here or like rejection, I understand that, okay, the ops are in. The ops obviously caught the cells here. No, the gullible ones, you know, the gullible version of you, you know, the trend trader entered cells here, you know, or even at the retest, because some people are good at like that at catching snipers. At the retest, and then entered, obviously had their TPs down there, you know. So that's where now the ops come in. The ops will come and take out all your stop losses before it actually drops again, you know, or do this little range that it was doing here before it drops, you know. So whatever you do, just have a process or a procedure that you follow for each and every trade. You know, obviously the initial entry is obviously going to be more technical, but then if you're trying to scale in, at least have some, you know, confirmations in place. Have some logic to what you're trying to do, so that you know where to put your stop losses. Still, you don't just like enter the market blindly just because you think you're in the right, you know. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys. And yeah, what's gonna happen is that this is gonna be first of many, right? I know this was a trial, this was pretty much a demo, but We're gonna do more of these, and I promise you, I'm gonna be applying the same principles on the funded, the real account, the real funded account, or the real challenges. And yeah, I'll come back with the results, and you witnessing it would also be you like getting all the game and all the psychology from someone who's also starting from the bottom like you, if you're also starting from the bottom, you know. So that's where I'm going with this thing. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys for tapping in and tuning in with the with the content. Please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and tell me what you think of what I'm putting on the table right now. So yeah, I was just excited to share the trade with you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a productive week, profitable week. And yeah, meet you guys on the second video or the next video. Thank you.